you guys have.
Are you practicing with wet balls this week?
We just talked about it. It'll be an opportunity to play in the rain for sure, so as you guys know, in the fall we get some crazy hurricane weather every now and then, and I think to go out there and see how we handle the conditions. I know it's not great maybe for fans and things like that, but for a football team, that's not a bad thing to be able to go out and play in the rain a little bit. So if that's what comes, then we'll go out and play in it. If it skips us, then we'll have a nice day.
How are you approaching the spring game? Is it 1 versus 2? Is it
Yeah, it's the same thing we've been doing. So the first group will go against everyone else, and then we'll have some guys that sub in and out on both sides of the ball. The first half will be normal clock, and the second half will be a running clock. It'll all be live, with the exception of the quarterbacks. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
With your transfers and 2 junior college transfers in, how have you kind of seen them start from the spring to now?
Yeah, there's a lot of change throughout the spring with these guys. They're learning how to play with new teammates, so you're starting to see the chemistry of that. They're learning new systems. Even for Brennan, there's some new things with what Coach and I has done differently over the last year. And so, you see all those guys gaining ground mentally on the playbook, but you also see the relationships forming, between teammates, and then we get to know them different as competitors because, winter conditioning is not football, so you get to see that side of it too.
How much importance will you put on the players' play during the spring game as opposed to what they've done leading up to it?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that.
Will the spring game be very, very important for people trying to move up and down the depth chart?
It can be. I think for guys that haven't played a lot in the stadium, those days are really big. It's really about the amount of information as coaches we have on guys. And so guys that have played a ton of football, probably not as much as guys that have not played. But every practice matters, like every walkthrough, every meeting. We're going to put a lot of stock into everything. Today was just as important as Saturday from our standpoint as coaches. It just gives you another lens and how we're going to manage potentially a tough day of weather. So I think that's a good obstacle for the team as well.
When you look at your 2022 guys, Brandon Cleveland was able to play some, and Michael Allen and Terrell Timmons. What have you seen them make a jump, and what would you say about the guys that redshirted?
I think Brandon Cleveland has definitely made a jump. He was really out of shape last year when we started fall camp and had to play himself, end up being able to play, and then injuries allowed him the opportunity. He did a great job, and he took, I think that lesson to heart, had a good off season, has had really good 13 days out here with us. Michael Allen missed quite a bit of spring, so it's good to finally get him back. This is his first week of full go practice for him, so hard to answer the question on him, just don't have enough film. Terrell's been out some too, did come back and have a really nice catch in the scrimmage Saturday, so that was good to see. But these guys are still really young, they're still within 12 months of when they moved here, and there's a lot of gain in front of them.
Is there a particular position group that you're, I know you're excited to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a particular group, maybe like linebackers or quarterbacks, anybody that you see that you want to see in the game, how they perform on Saturday that you're looking forward to seeing?
I don't know if I can single one out for you. There's a lot of competition going on the roster, and I want to see how everybody does,
I was going to say, I'm sure there are a lot of things that you're pleased with coming out of the spring. What are your biggest concerns going into fall camp?
I want to be healthy. That's the thing. Like, you just want to get out of our Friday night and our Saturday with everybody that started those 2 practices, and then have a really good summer and continue to build in fall camp and get ready for the season. Things that are out of your control are always the things that kind of haunt you a little bit as a coach, So the things that we can do better, we're going to work hard at getting better at those things. Like, that doesn't concern me as much.
How have you kind of seen the offensive line come together this spring?
Really good. Coach 2J's done a nice job with that group. The guys are playing with passion. I think they've embraced the new system and the change. There's a lot of new run game that they're learning, and so you're seeing that growth within the run game. And we've, other than taking Dylan out for this last week, we've had really good success as far as those guys playing with each other every day. That's important on the O-line. It's just that chemistry of playing next to a guy and having the same guy next to me all the time. And so we've been able to do that, and that's been good for the offensive line.
And you guys have a ton of early enrollee freshmen
do.
this year. How have they done adjusting to the speed of the college game, and have any stood out to you?
Yeah, I think, they started really fast. They had a good off-season. Some of them struggled early on in the off-season and then got better as it went. Got into spring ball, and Javante Vereen and KC Conception, both of them really productive early in camp, in spring camp. And then both of them got kind of hit the wall, and missed a week or so with nagging things, and now they're both back out there playing again. So it's good to see them rebound, but the ability to maintain at this level for a period of time is something that is challenging. So it's normal for a young guy like them, but they've shown a lot of life there. Kendrick Raphael, the running back, freshman, really been consistent, probably the most consistent of the group. Isaiah Shirley, consistent. The offensive linemen, it's good to see the young offensive linemen getting a lot of reps. Like they're three really big, long, good-looking guys, and you talk about Darion Rivers and Obi, and how long they are, and Rico. So to get them reps and reps and reps, it's exciting because it's hard to coach 6'6", to have three guys that are that long. But they need to get in the weight room with Thunder, and we're starting to kind of see what we have and what we don't have, and where we, kind of need to fill in with the guys that are going to show up in June.
You lost a lot in the secondary, but Devin and Jakeem played a lot too because of injuries over the last 2 years. How has that kind of eased the transition?
I mean, we look at those two guys as returning starters, because they have been starters for us, and both of them have started in multiple places in the secondary. All of them have played free, strong, and nickel. It's kind of to have that kind of flexibility in the system. Rakeem Ashford's played a lot of football. We look at him as a guy that's got starting experience. And then Robert Kennedy's a starter, from another school. Shy Battle, returning starter. So we have some good experience. Obviously, we lost a great player in Tanner, and we're going to miss what he brought out there. Cyrus and what he brought, Pitts and what he brought. But we do have guys that have played a lot and have started, and we've got good competition in there. And then it's also fun to see Brandon Cisse, the freshman, talking about the secondary. He's really emerged as a guy that can handle it and play consistent.
Sounds like Cecil Powell's been able to practice.
So yeah, he's been non-contact, so he's been able to do everything but, finish tackles and not blocking him or things like that, So he's able to run and make checks and, play the ball and do all those things. But the last part for him will be the contact piece.
It's just happy to see him out there though.
Yeah,
After everything he's been through.
2 years of, fighting through a tough injury, and just to see him playing against a win right now.
How many guys you can hold out the long? Do you hold some guys, I'm sure?
For the scrimmage?
Yeah.
Well, there's guys that aren't cleared to play. Those guys won't
Just the
play.
guys,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, like
no.
a Peyton Wilson, will he?
Yeah, Peyton's not in right now,
Okay.
so we got so many game reps with him. But
Right.
for the most part, the guys that were at practice will be playing, and try to get as many guys game reps as we can.
You have a lot of young linebackers. How have you seen them progress?
Yeah, Caden Fordham's really come on this spring. Jalen Parker's gotten a lot better. Torrin Wright, a lot better. It's fun to see that with those younger guys that you mentioned. Obviously, we've got a lot of banked reps with Betty and Jalen Parker, Jalen Scott, and Peyton. So get those younger backers in there, and then Kamel Bonner, one of our freshman linebackers, has really done a nice job. So
Has Hibbler lived up to his pass rush reputation?
he's been good. Yeah, I mean he's got to get in shape still. He still gets tired, but yeah, he plays hard. He's got a lot of wiggle. So I got to get inside, guys. AB.